Welcome back, everybody. I thought I would introduce you to the next project from Back to the Future Radios. As you can see, the dial has a Statue of Liberty on it. So let's pan back and see which radio we're working with now. This is a Marshall radio, and it's an unknown model. And if you go to Radio Museum, you will see this exact radio. It is this radio. It has been. I went through Jay Kennard, and he put the information that I have on this radio on Radio Museum. So if you go on Radio Museum, this is that radio. So, but the unique dial has a Statue of Liberty on it. On-off switch and the tuning. Of course, you may see that the cabinet is in need of some repair, but I don't think we're going to refinish it. I think we'll clean it up and glue it, and I think we'll be fine there. So let's talk a little bit about this. This Marshall was made by Clinton Radio, and that's Clinton Manufacturing in Chicago, Illinois. And they went in business about 1933 and went out of business about 1938. And there's some discussion whether or not that Clinton Manufacturing was sold to Sonora Radio. Some Sonora radios have been found with a Clinton label on the inside of it. Now, one of the things Clinton made just about all the radios by Universal Battery Company of Chicago. They made a lot of radios sold by Silver Manufacturing Company of Chicago. And sometimes they'll have the same model numbers as other similar radios, Clinton radios. The majority of them have an orange label, like that. And with the words Plant A Chicago. Well, this one does not have Plant A. Sometimes they've been seen to have a black and yellow label with the Plant C Chicago, but this doesn't have a Plant A or B or C or anything like that, but it does say manufactured by Clinton Manufacturing there. Now, looking at the patent, the latest or the largest patent number on it, that patent was issued in 1934. So this radio has to be post 1934. So somewhere between 34, 35, 36, 37, and to 38, whenever it was out. Okay, here's the unique thing about this radio. Of course, it has a span. It's basically a switch that switches the coil in and out, that extends the broadcast band to the short wave. There's no indication of it on the dial, but it does have that switch. It's 4 tubes. It's got a 6D6, a 6C6, a 43 output tube, and a 25 Z5 rectifier tube. It has a curtain burner, which has a resistor in that cord, which we plan on replacing that with some resistor on the chassis somewhere a little later. I have found a schematic, a generic. This was sent to me by Jay Kennard, and I actually got it off of Radio Museum. But this is a generic schematic for Clinton Marshall 4-tube TRF. It is a TRF radio. It says pre-1936. But as you see, it has the 6D6, the 6C6, the 43, and the 25Z5. Down here it shows a 185 R8 ballast tube, but there is a note that says some models use a resistor cord instead of the 185 R8. So we'll start out with this schematic and see if it'll work for us. Also found this schematic, which is very similar. It's awful washed out. But anyway, this is not of a Clinton radio, but it looks like the same circuit basically. But in this particular circuit, and it'll be good reference I believe, here's a ballast tube, 185 R8, and then it also has an alternate circuit for the resistive line cord here, how it's wired. So this will be good reference. Whether this is any good or not, this will still be a good reference, good background information when we get into this radio. So let's pull this out of the cabinet and look at it before we go any further. This first one is just going to be an introduction, and we'll look at it and see what we're up against. Let me pull it out. As you can see, this is going to have to be glued. It's coming apart here, but I think we will be able to do something with this. Okay, it's in pretty good shape. Cabinet is. Finish is okay. And I think we can get by without refinishing. It's got this inlay. I like that. The one thing, didn't have any knobs, so we're going to have to try to do some research, but since we don't know which knob, we'll just have to pick a good set and go with it. Don't you think? Looking at the front of it, the speaker looks in pretty good shape. Does this look like the silver bell? Think about it. The way this was, this whole mechanism, it looked like it's made just like the silver bell. Looking at the schematic, this is with the ballast tube. It shows two number 40 lamps. Also, if you look over here with this reference one, it shows the resistive line cord shows two bulbs in series. And if we look right here, there's a bulb and there's a bulb. So whether that's real or not, whether it's the same, I don't know. We'll get, as we get into it, we will see. Let me close these this capacitor and let's explore this a little bit. Here is, get you in focus here. I believe this, if you'll look, there's 3 wires coming out of this cord. So one of them is the resistor, and we'll sort that out as we get a little further down the line. I just took you out of the view, but if you'll look right here, you're seeing this as I'm seeing it. This cord here is loose, but it's coming from one of the lamps. But it's going to a resistor here. This wire wound resistor right there. That is soldered to this, I guess this is a choke maybe. Maybe it's the output. Now there's the output up here. So that's a choke that we'll look at. So far the parts are showing up. Similar anyway. This can is a little ratty looking. It's not really a can, it's a cardboard. So let's see if we can look this way. Speaker, the output transformer. the capacitor, the antenna coil over here. Looks like this is the antenna lead. Comes to a terminal strip there, taped with friction tape. There's the coil, of course, 6D6, 6C6, 43, 25Z5, and the tuning condenser. And let's see if we can get in here and look at some. Alright, looks like some sort of insulative material to keep the heat off of the speaker from the lamp. Really can't tell, but that little trunnion or whatever it was, this mechanism is just like that silver bell I worked on my other project. So let's look under the bottom and see what it looks like under here. Let's pan back and try to get the whole 9 yards here. Alright. Looks like, I don't know. That resistor is loose, so we'll have to figure out where that went. Very primitive looking dog bones, some naked wires, filter cap, probably the oscillator coil here, and then we've got our switch here. So pretty simple circuit. We'll in part 2 we'll start testing our tubes, taking this apart, cleaning it up, doing some stuff, and you know, see where we are, see how this matches the schematic. But it's in pretty good shape, in my opinion. But I think one of the real selling points was that dial right there. Oh, come on, focus for me. Focus for me there. There you go. And you could tune that thing like that. That's really neat. So tell me what you think. And if you can do some research for me, find out as much as you can for this, that'd be great. I appreciate all your input is appreciated. I really like doing this when people make comments and what have you. So I'm going to wrap this one up, and in part 2 we'll start doing some tear down and clean up and tracing out this circuit. So from Larry from the hills of Tennessee, thanks for watching.